This episode is brought to you by all of our patrons. To become a patron, head over to patreon.com/makeusbetter. This week's executive producers are Nick from Next Level Games, Joel Brooks, James Johnson, Sheldon Benedict, Jesse Armstrong, Glocko Schaefer, David Ray, and my best friend in all the world, Mike Drummy. Drum roll, please. And our newest patron is Jesse Sackin. Sorry.
What is up, everybody, and welcome to episode 16 of the Nintendo PlayStation podcast. I am Bobby, the Nintendo Guru, joined by my second best friend in all the land, Toby Thornton. What's up, Toby?
What's up, second best friend?
Yeah, listen, Drummy and me and Drummy are best friends.
No,
Don't
me
get
and
jealous.
me and Mike and I are best friends.
No, he told you straight up in the comments he become a Patreon after I stated the fact that he was my best friend last week. That pushed him to go, you know what, I'm going to become a patron for these guys just because you apparently been friends with him for a long time. He just didn't care, but he loves me, and it just goes to show how it is.
Well, maybe
nothing.
All right, if that's the case, I won't be sending him a thank you card.
You'll send him a thank you card.
I will.
Speaking of thank you cards, I wrote out notes to everybody. I have to send them this week. So anybody that's an executive producer, you will be getting your card this week. Well, probably early next week, but I'm going to be sending it tomorrow, hopefully.
Yeah, people have been getting my ones, and I'm so embarrassed about my handwriting. It's so bad.
You know, you're like a little kid. You're like a child.
I'm like a serial killer.
Ugh. So you like cut out letters and paste them?
Yeah. That'd look neater than my actual handwriting.
Oh, I'm a little tired today, Tobes. A little tired.
Really? Well, you look pretty comfortable in that cushy seat that you've just bought. You should be very relaxed, Bobby.
Especially when I do this. When I go.
Whoa, Bobby!
It starts massaging.
Does it vibrate?
Yeah, man.
Oh my god!
Got two settings and stuff. I just
no
chill.
way.
I just lay back, man. I'm like, yeah. Anyway.
That's it. That's crazy.
Anyway.
Is that your geek out?
Yeah, that's gonna be my geek out. So let's kick this episode off like we do each and every episode with our geek outs.
Geek out!
I'll go first since I already talked about it. So I got this chair last week. My other chair was lowering by itself, and it was annoying the hell out of me. And it was a cheap chair. I didn't really spend much money on it, but I was constantly I would sit here for hours when I started streaming and stuff, and just in pain. My back was killing
Getting
me.
lower and lower.
Well, it was just annoying. But my back was in pain all the time, and I was just like, this is ridiculous. So when I kind of was like, okay, it's time for a new chair, I just typed in, just gaming chair, durable gaming chairs and stuff, and this one popped up, and I started looking at the reviews, and the reviews were really high on it. I was like, all right, you know what? And it was on sale. It was normally $250. I got it for $150. So I was
that's good for a chair like that.
Yeah, man. I said, I'm in. So I looked at it. I was like, all right, I'll buy it. Then the next day, I actually read what it has involved in. And I was like, oh, my God, dude, this thing's got, vibration in it and stuff. I'm like, yeah, that's what's up. So I actually have
nice.
Because it runs off USB, I have it hooked to my laptop. So it's just plugged into my laptop, and I just I'm like,
your laptop's powering your vibrations.
Yeah, man, it's awesome. It's the best thing ever. I'm like, this is the greatest thing ever. So, but I like it. It's just really comfortable, man. It really is. And I suggest to anybody that's spends time gaming or podcasting, go get a good chair. It's worth the money. So it took forever to put it together because it didn't come with instructions, and it wasn't as easy as you think it is.
Yeah, is it like a computer chair? It's on wheels and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, because most of the gaming chairs that I see in the UK are ones that go on the floor, and they're just big cushy ones that they're sort of that sort of shape, but they don't have wheels on them.
No, this has it's just like an office chair, like a regular chair. You know what I mean? But it's more. It's just more heavy duty. When you're actually holding the pieces, you could feel how strong it is. So
quality.
Yeah, it's definitely quality. So there we go. Anyway, what about you, Toes? What are you geeking out about?
So I'm geeking out. Our Patreon page has reached its second tier goal.
Yes, it has.
Of $150 a month. So that means I will be making 2 videos a month. And that also means that instead of just doing more episodes of the greatest games that I'm currently doing, I'm going to do a second video series.
Oh, so you're going to do one video series. So you're going to do one video a month of one series and then another video a month of the other series.
That's correct.
Oh, that's cool.
And,
that's cool.
I don't know if I want to give away what it is exactly yet, but I've written a musical intro with lyrics.
Oh, God.
I've recorded myself playing it on guitar, but this is a little thing. If anyone who's listening is a talented musician who can sing, because I can't sing very well, so I'd rather have somebody else record it.
There's a shock.
Be nice, Bobby. Come on.
Be nice. Calm down over there, Adele. It's okay.
So yeah, if anyone's a good singer or whatever and wants to help us out, get in touch.
I got you. I understand.
It's only like 30 seconds, so nothing major. Two chords.
Very careful,
simple.
Because you ask Sean Capri after this. When you record We the Gamer Cast, he's got a...
I forgot he plays guitar,
He plays
doesn't
guitar and he sings like a bird, man.
Well, there you go. Sean Capri, he's my man.
You can always say it's Barry Dunn, too. Barry Dunn plays the accordion.
Oh, yeah, I did tweet... I put a tweet out.
That? Is it the accordion?
It depends what you mean.
It's the thing with the piano and you squeeze.
Yeah.
It's the accordion. Yeah.
He plays box.
Yeah, he plays that.
Yeah,
he plays that.
I
thought he would play the bagpipes, but apparently that's not the thing.
That's not really what I'm after, though. I'm after like a guitar.
Alan could put on his skirt and sing for you. Oh Lord! All right, so good God. All right, so topic time, Tobes.
Yeah.
What you want to go first? You want me to go first?
Yeah, let's bust my one out first.
Right,
not as exciting as your one.
Yeah, do your boring topic.
So my topic is PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds is massively popular at the moment, and other games are starting to steal that mode for their own games.
Question for you. Before we get into that, is PlayerUnknown Battleground, is that coming to PS4?
Yeah, I mean it's definitely coming to Xbox. It's potentially coming to PlayStation 4 at some point.
Okay.
But yeah, so basically the whole idea of that game is a battle royale type thing. 100 people are dropped into a world, one man wins at the end. So I was wondering what other games that are out or coming out soon would suit their own battle royale mode.
I think the answer is very simple, and it's right there for everybody. Star Wars.
Oh, dude, I didn't even think about that.
If they did like a dogfight thing. Well, even if you did like players, where you ran around lightsabers and stuff.
Yeah, lightsabers.
I think that like really, I think like the space battle. Like if you threw everybody in space and you did gigantic, man.
Yeah.
Space.
The thing is with
that would be kind of cool.
Yeah, like that's more of like. I suppose it is loosely fitting into the mold of what I'm on about, because I'm more interested in like the strategic side of like looting things.
What is not
like
strategic about like flying fighter
well, because
ships around?
you're not like hunting for weapons and armor and then sneaking around. Like I'm more talking about like foot soldiers. So that's what I mean. Like
who says they can't add little elements of that as well in there?
Well, yeah, they could. That's what I'm saying. Like the lightsaber idea and all that. Like, yeah, that could work.
The other one I kind of thought of was
should we not go back and forth, Bobby? Well, just go back and forth.
Well, you chimed in on mine, so I wanted to kind of expand.
All right.
Because I'm not thinking like in my terms. I'm thinking of like just throwing 100 people in there at once and kind of eliminating as you go. You know what I mean? That's what I'm thinking. Not more or less like the looting and all that stuff. Like I'm just thinking in terms of like going out and throwing 100 people in there and see who lasts time. Because you can't steal the whole idea completely. You know what I mean? Like you got to make it your own too. So Go ahead. What's yours?
I think The Division would make for a good battle royale type game
running through the city and all that.
Yeah, because that game's really tactical. Players have a lot of hit points and stuff. There's a lot of gear and stuff you can find. You can upgrade your skills and everything. Mm-hmm. And I think just that environment and the way that you can take cover and everything would be really cool for like 100-man sort of thing. The only thing I worry about is it's quite claustrophobic compared to the open world nature of PlayerUnknown's, because that's more like there are like towns and buildings, but a lot of it is just open field and trees and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that the city, I mean, you're kind of funneled into like corridors where the streets are and the alleyways. But
well, that would be easy. You would just shut the buildings down, just make it so you couldn't enter the buildings.
Well, I think maybe it would be good to enter if one of the circles ended up inside of a giant like shopping mall.
Oh, that'd be cool.
And there's like multiple layers to it and stuff. That would be cool.
I think Destiny would definitely lend its some good stuff to it. But bouncing off of what I'm talking about with the whole thing, I think if you took like Gran Turismo or Forza and basically said like, okay, you're gonna race across country. And what you do is you have to, like, you start with 100 players and you're all racing to the section. And then what it does is it goes, when you hit a checkpoint, the top 75 advance. And then you keep going. And then it goes down to like the top 50, then the top 25, then the top 15, then the top 10, top 5, top 1. And like, but you're just racing across the country. And it's like, that would be kind of cool. Like if you're, you have 100 people racing and it's like, who lasts? And like maybe you do a qualifying lap. So you do a qualifying lap and that places you in the ranks of the 100 people. You know what I mean? Or it just could be like your average of your speeds. But you kind of want to get everybody in the same realm. Like, you don't want to have someone that's, like, the fastest. Like, you want to try to group them properly. Yeah. But, like, let's say you do, like, a time trial lap. That's maybe, like, I don't know, 30 seconds long, right? And everybody goes in, they do their time trial lap, and then it seeds you to where you are. And then, boom, you go. That'd be really, really cool, honestly. Like, I can see a lot of people having a lot of fun with that and stuff. And then you have like different styles of plays, like you have people like taking each other out. But if you wanted to eliminate that into it, maybe they create like a Mad Max, or I would even go to say like a Mario Kart. Where
I think Mad Max would really suit it with all the vehicles with the weapons on and stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
and that's why I'm thinking Mario Kart as well, because like if you grabbed items and you threw them at people to like move yourself up the ranks and stuff, like that would kind of be cool to be. But it'll never happen on Nintendo because their servers can barely handle 12 people, let alone 100.
Yeah,
so,
it's true.
But all right, go ahead. What's your next one?
The Last of Us. Now, The Last of Us is so cool in terms of like the scavenging and looting, because that's a big part of that game in the single player is, trying to find weapons because your weapons break. So that's interesting. It's very sort of impactful. Like all of the hits, like the hand-to-hand combat is very like crunchy. Mm-hmm. You throw a brick at someone, you really feel it. And I think that would be awesome to have that in that sort of game. Like,
yeah, I think that would definitely lend to it.
On the go crafting, like hiding behind a wall, crafting like a Molotov while somebody's like sneaking in front of you or something.
I think I would even probably say to take like Uncharted as well.
I mean, they are quite similar.
The mechanics are kind of similar, but like a lot of like the swinging, like especially with 4, where you had like the grappling hook and like you could swing around and stuff, and like you could do some hand-to-hand combat, but you could also use your weapons, and that would kind of, I think, lend its thing. I mean, obviously Call of Duty. I mean, I don't think you can leave that off the list. I mean, I think Call of Duty is too fast-paced. I think you need to have a slower pace of game. I mean, you said Destiny earlier, but I don't know. Like, I think you can. I think any type of first-person shooter can definitely, especially a Destiny where it's all about gear. Like you're always gearing up, and you're getting different weapons, and you're gearing up, and like I think it doesn't matter if it's that player unknown battleground, like that's only a slower pace because people aren't rushing after each other. They're trying to take their time to let the idiots pick each other off, and then they can swoop in and do other stuff. Like honestly, it's not. I don't think if that was a regular first person shooter where it was like get the most kills, I think you would see a much faster pace on it. It's because you get killed and you're out that it's not a fast pace. You can't recklessly just run through things. You have
I don't know. I still think that if it was a Call of Duty game, people would be running around much quicker.
Of course they would. And guess what? They would get killed, and then they would sit their ass on the sidelines.
Well, like,
and then they would go,
matches.
I need a different strategy.
Yeah, the matches would probably be over a lot quicker. But
I think it's just a matter of once they learn that you can't rush in like a bull, you got to like take your time and figure things out. It'd be different. It'd be totally different.
I've got one more.
Go ahead. What's your one more?
Red Dead Redemption. I think being out in the Old West, wrangling a horse, say like you have to find a wild horse because there's no vehicles. Yeah. Like, if you're in a team, maybe you have to get a wagon together. I think the weapons would be really good because they're not like you don't really have extremely powerful weapons back then. Like you'd have to like get up a bit more up close to really deal with the damage and take them out. And I just think the terrain would be really nice, really cool.
The one thing I will say with this whole entire conversation, though, is I hope it doesn't happen. Because I think what they have is something special. It's unique, and it'll just get run into the ground when you start throwing everybody into the mix. I don't
think you can stop it though. Well, it's really popular, and I think that things that are popular do get,
of course
copied.
They get carbon copied, but I think that like at the same time, I would hate to think that now every single first person shooter or third person shooter turns into this, and it's like. They have something that's unique, and I would just hate to. I don't know. I hate that. It's like when zombie stuff gets big, every television show where everything has zombies in it now, and it's like, oh come on, man, enough of this nonsense. It grows old quick, and it's like.
That's just gaming in general, though. You go through these trends of things happening, like Minecraft. There's so many Minecraft clones and just crafting in general is taken over the game industry. Every game has crafting. Every game has RPG elements. There's just things that happen. Like there was a while where every like protagonist would have like a bow and arrow. Like that was a thing for a few years. I
agree. Okay, so my topic is: has 2017 been Nintendo's best year yet? Can they maintain it in 2018, or will they fall off? So, I just look at this here and I go, this has been just overall a phenomenal year for Nintendo in terms of like the Switch launched to grand success. It's selling through the roof. They have a huge exclusive game coming every single month to the console through the end of the year. I wonder, can they maintain this? Now, they are starting to get in some big third parties now. And I wonder, can they keep the momentum going? Or is this just something that they fall off of? Because if you remember a couple years ago, well, it was more than a couple years ago now, they had that one fantastic year on the Wii U where it was like they could not go wrong. And they were just hitting game after game after game, and everything was skyrocketing on the Metacritic. They had that fantastic E3 where they showed off all those great games, and then the next year they could do nothing right, and it was like every single game was a flop. So I wonder, can they build off of this year, or do they hit a wall and kind of fall apart? Well, first off, do you agree with the assessment that this year has been one of its best years, or do you think that it's not? Or
I think there's no denying the fact that Zelda is one of the best games ever made, and I think Mario Odyssey is probably also going to be one of the best games ever made, based on what we've seen and from previews and stuff. So having those two massive hitters in the first year of a console is amazing, and with Mario Rabbids as well. Certainly, I think this has been a great year. I mean, you've had Splatoon 2 as well, and ARMS. There's Mario Kart 8. There's lots of great games that come out this year.
Isn't it crazy that Mario Kart 8 kind of gets lost in the mix?
Oh yeah,
it's a great game, and yes, it's a deluxe version. But at the end of the day, dude, that game was massive on the Wii U. and it just gets lost in.
I mean, obviously, because most people, it's old.
Yeah.
It's a great game, but everyone's already played it.
Well, not everyone. Only maybe
a lot of the
3
people
million
that probably bought a
people.
Switch have played it.
Well, now, yeah.
Anyway, but I was looking back at a Wikipedia list of Nintendo's releases, and there are a few years that I think could potentially rival this year.
Okay.
So 1997. Right, a lot of the years are N64 years, I think.
Okay.
So 1997 had Mario Kart 64, Blast Corps, Bomberman 64, Diddy Kong Racing, GoldenEye, Star Fox 64, Tetrisphere, Mischief Makers. So I think there are some real big hitters in that year.
I would take this year over that. In my opinion. I mean, I look at those games and I go, there's probably... I mean, yes, they're all classic games and all, but... I
think you have to detach yourself from today, though, because you know today's games are obviously on a different level. Like, they're new to us now. Like,
are you serious right now?
No, what I'm saying, Bobby, is when these games first came out, they were just as good as the games that are coming out this year. Like Mario Kart 64, we probably thought, wow, this is way like amazing. The same way.
I'm not taking anything from those games in those terms. Like, I look back and I think I was not a fan of Bomberman 64. I love Mario Kart. I love Diddy Kong Racing. Blast Corps was a great game. GoldenEye
GoldenEye.
I know Fox. GoldenEye is a huge thing for people. Wasn't a huge thing for me. And Star Fox 64 is probably the best Star Fox ever. And that's not saying much because the other ones are all pretty much trash. So for me, like, I look at that list and I go, you're talking about potentially one of the greatest video games ever with Zelda. And I think that takes precedence over a lot of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So that's, in my mind, that's what I look at. When I listen to that list, I go, are any of these... and it doesn't have to be the greatest game ever, but is there any potential for them being, like, this goes down as one of the strongest ever?
All right, how about 1998?
Okay.
You've got 1080 Snowboarding, Banjo-Kazooie, Bomberman Hero, Cruising World, F-Zero X, Ocarina of Time, Major League Baseball featuring Ken Griffey Jr.
You would have to throw that in there, wouldn't you?
Yeah, Yoshi's Story. I mean, that's a pretty good year.
It's a decent year. It's not
Ocarina of Time, one of the best games ever made. Banjo-Kazooie, one of the best games ever made.
I don't know about that.
I think the thing is that I don't think there's ever been another year that's had Zelda and Mario, like two of their biggest franchises.
That's
like
the thing.
That.
Well, I mean, you could go and say the year that they had Super Mario Bros. 2 and Zelda 2. The problem is that we know how those turned out, and those didn't turn out to be juggernauts. They sold like madhouse, man. Like, it was crazy how hard it was to get those games. But as time moved on, those aren't the most favorite games in the franchise, so that hurts a little bit. But
all right, I got one more good year for you, Bobby.
Go ahead.
The year 2000, an often forgotten year for the N64.
Okay.
Right at the end of its life cycle, but you got Banjo-Tooie, Excitebike 64, Hey You Pikachu, Kirby 64, Majora's Mask, Mario Party 2, Mario Tennis, Perfect Dark, Pokemon Stadium, Ridge Racer 64, StarCraft 64, Sin and Punishment, that's Dr. Mario's 2001. Well, there you go. So that's a whole list of amazing games right there.
I would probably want to go back to the SNES era to see how those games stacked up. And the reason why I say that is because I wonder, did A Link to the Past and Super Mario World come out the same year?
No, I think Mario World was 1990 and A Link to the Past was like 94, something like that.
Was that far after?
Yeah, it was quite...
Oh my God, I thought they were closer. Okay.
I mean, they might have been closer, but it wasn't the same year.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, 2017, I got the list of Switch games here, and it is hard to deny that this is an amazing year.
And let's not even, let's just say all of gaming. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh
just the fact of like, yes, Nintendo. And you know what I think part of the problem is last year was so boring.
Oh yeah, 2016 was one of the worst years. I was shocked. Like you can clearly see a dip.
Yeah.
Like Nintendo, like you said, they had a great year. 2015 was great for the Wii U, and then 2016 they've got nothing.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing, and they're clearly saving it all for the Switch.
Well,
like,
and all of gaming, like you think about it, like you go back and listen to like Game of the Year last year. Everybody has a different Game of the Year. Every outlet, normally it's like the same game. Like this year, it's going to be. I feel you're going to have a lot of Breath of the Wild. You're going to have a lot of Horizon. You're going to have a lot of Odyssey. I think those three games are going to basically steal the show across, or at least those three games, in my opinion, will be fighting for the top spot across the board. Now, there might be other ones like Nier and all that other stuff that might get in there as well, but for the most part, I think those are the three that are fighting on most levels across the board. And there could be some other ones in there that might enter the mix, but I think on everybody's charts, those three will be definitely talked about in the realm of like these are the games. But last year was like crazy. People were talking about like what was it, Inside, and they were talking about Doom, and they were talking about just Batman, Telltale. Like there was all these games that like it was just so random across the board of all these different games. So ultimately, I think that like this has probably been the strongest just for all of gaming, but definitely for Nintendo, especially with how bad 2016 was. To see them come out the gates swinging the way they are is pretty incredible.
And I'm like surprised. Well, I'm not. I shouldn't be surprised, but I'm just saying that Mario Rabbids is the best-selling third-party game now on Switch, and it's obvious that Nintendo IP sells, and because that's been so successful for Ubisoft and Nintendo, like I can see other third parties like clamoring to get Nintendo like partnerships, they should be.
I'm curious how other Ubisoft games are going to sell. Like I know Rayman isn't a new franchise, but I'm just curious, did it sell better on the Switch or the Wii U? But there wasn't a lot of marketing behind it. It kind of just released, and it wasn't even really talked about much. So I don't know that there would be, but like as the future moves forward, like with Steep Hits and all these other games, like especially that one that has like the Toys to Life game, the spaceships.
Oh
yeah.
I'm
kind of curious how that one sells. Like I'm just curious how things move forward, how they sell on. Everything's been selling well on Switch. Like there's been other comparatives. I think Snake Pass sold the most games on Switch compared to the other consoles. Right now, it just feels like Nintendo is clicking on all cylinders the way it's going. But can they maintain in 2018? Do you think, or are you nervous about 2018?
I'm nervous because I'm mostly nervous because Nintendo have kept 2018 very close to their chest. There's a few things that they've mentioned, but they've not really revealed many massive games that are coming out next year. And that's not to say that they're not coming. You know, there could be Animal Crossing next year. There could be an F-Zero coming next year. I mean, who knows what they've got up their sleeve? Pikmin 4. Like,
what do you think they need in 2018 to just keep the ball rolling? Like, what?
I don't know, man. I think they need... It's so hard because Mario and Zelda are their two biggest franchises. The big tentpole releases are coming out in the same year. So not to sort of take anything away from these other games, but Nintendo are going to need something big like Smash that is maybe on the same level, and Animal Crossing. Like perhaps they need more of those sort of mid-tier things. And mid-tier sounds bad, but for Nintendo, like mid-tier is great.
I think they need multiple. So they've already announced Kirby. Yeah. They've already announced Yoshi. So we know those two. They've also already announced Fire Emblem. I feel like we don't know whether Metroid will actually hit in 2018 or is that an actually further out game. There's rumors of it coming in 2018. That's the only reason I bring that up. And then you look at Animal Crossing. and Smash. I think
Yeah.
with what they've already announced, they have to have Animal Crossing, they have to have Smash
Yeah.
in order to
I
take
think,
it to that next level for them.
yeah, if they had Smash and Animal Crossing, and if they did something with Mario Maker, then I think it could be a huge.
I don't think Mario
Yeah.
Maker needs to be on Switch. I think that franchise can just disappear and die, honestly.
You've had enough of it.
I just, you know what? They need to revamp it. Like, if they take what Jules did with Chicken Wiggle, with, like, the ability to, like, tag your stuff and do all that.
Yeah,
yeah.
Yes. I mean, I'm not saying just re-release Mario
No, they
Maker.
need to fix it. They need to fix the way you search for levels and all that stuff. Like, yes. I think also, I'm just going to throw this out there. I think if they come with a Mario Golf, I think that also bodes well. Like, that's a big franchise. But if they came out with Mario Strikers 2,
yeah, I'd be in for that. That would be game of the year. I think that
would really, really, really get some people hyped. Seriously.
Yeah.
So I think that's what they need to look at. Like, do what you're doing, hit Animal Crossing, hit Smash, and then, like, either Mario Golf or Mario Strikers, or both, whatever. But I think they need to have something sports title-ish there.
Yeah.
I think we'll probably get, I think we're going to get probably Sonic and Mario at the Olympics again. Because isn't it an Olympic year this year? I think is it the summer or the Winter Olympics? It's one of those are coming up. I think it's the Winter Olympics. The Winter Olympics is up next. So I think that'll probably get on there as well.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see how it
I think they can keep the momentum going. I mean, especially when third parties are jumping on board more and more. You know, if Skyrim does incredibly well, if Doom does incredibly well, then you're going to start to get more of these games on Switch, and they will fill out the gaps. So hopefully, if that happens, we won't start getting loads more Wii U ports, because, you know, Wii U ports are fine, but I think people rather see third parties than Wii U ports.
I think you're going to see Wii U ports. I think the Wii U ports are going to fill the gaps where the holes are. And
well, that's what I'm saying. I hope third parties do that instead, so there aren't that many gaps.
But I think that, like, regardless, Nintendo is going to fill their gaps. I think Nintendo wants to have a game per month, a big game per month.
Yeah.
So if they can, as they're building the 2019 lineup, if they can grab a couple of the Wii U games and convert them and put them down, I think it's going to happen. And I don't have an issue with that. Like, you know, because I feel like my feeling is this. As we move forward, once Christmas hits, that's the actual launch in my mind. Right now, it's a beta test from when it launched till Christmas. That's when it's really game on for Nintendo, because that's when you should be flooding the market with Switches, getting more out there for people, and you should have a lot more new buyers and consumers there. That said, you're also going to try to appease those new consumers, and I think that's where you're going to have people that didn't own a Wii U, more people that didn't own a Wii U, popping into the realm. And look, there are some fantastic games on that Wii U that I'm not the type of person that goes, I don't want it to be left behind. I want people to play those games, because I felt like there was a lot of games that were 9s, 8s, 9s, close to 10s on the Metacritic, and they should be played by as many people as possible. It shouldn't be trapped on there. Yeah. You know, like
I'd love a HD Zelda double pack, like Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. Yeah, man. Or a triple pack if they can do Skyward Sword at the same time. Like, I would love to see a Skyward Sword with the motion controls eliminated, but I don't think they'll eliminate the motion controls. I would love to just be able to play it with a proper Pro controller and enjoy it. Yeah. Because I did like the way the story was going with that game. I felt like the story was very solid in terms of, like, especially coming off of Breath of the Wild, where when I realized the storyline that was happening, I craved it, and I went looking for memories, because I wanted more and more and more of that stuff. So I would welcome a more story-driven Zelda game. And I feel like Skyward Sword has a good back. It basically lends this whole backstory to Zelda and Link and all that. I'm trying to look over at my games and see what I have there. I mean, I definitely want Tokyo Mirage Sessions brought to Switch, because I feel like the ability to take it on the go and play, I would eat that up. You know what I mean? And that game is so good. I just didn't have the time to sit in front of my TV for
60, 70 hours. You know, that's the hard thing. So, I don't know. We'll see. Okay, so hot off the presses, Toby. This is where you bring 3 stories for Sony. I bring 3 for Nintendo. You pick the one Nintendo you want to hear. I pick the one Sony I want to hear. And then we read them off, talk about them.
Yeah.
You go first, since you
all right.
today.
Number 1, Red Dead Redemption 2 tease. Number 2, Square Enix wants more multiplayer in future games. Or PUBG, PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds developer, isn't too happy about Fortnite's Battle Royale mode.
I care less about that. I think the first one.
Yeah, not the Square Enix one? You don't want to make people angry?
I don't want to make people... Okay, do that one. I like how you pick the story you want to read. And you're you sure you don't want to talk about this one?
Just pick the story.
Yeah, exactly. Go ahead.
I just think we'll get more conversation out of this one.
Okay, good.
Alright, so gone are the days in which single-player games were of primary status and multiplayer games secondary. Lately, multiplayer games have taken the lead, and it is standard for games to be designed for long-term play. That's read in Square Enix's annual report. We will endeavour to develop games designed not to be played once after launch, but that consumers can enjoy more and play for longer. In doing so, we will increase customer satisfaction and enhance the lifetime value of the games themselves. The report continues. So they're really looking more into making games as a service and multiplayer focused games rather than the single player grand RPGs that they're known for.
Well, let's be fair. They haven't been known for that for a very long time. I've said it before, I don't feel Final Fantasy 15 is a Final Fantasy game. I feel it is just a Monster Hunter type game. Xenoblade Chronicles, if you will. I don't feel like that game is Final Fantasy. That is not a Final Fantasy game at all. And I don't care what anybody says, it is not. Go back and look at the old traditional Final Fantasy games. You don't go hunting monsters in an open world to, like bounty hunting type stuff. Like, that doesn't happen in those games. They took on a different style, a different mechanic. It took them 10 years to build, and it completely changed. They needed, with Final Fantasy, I feel like that game should have been its own standalone game. I felt like when you do a Final Fantasy game, you should stick to what a Final Fantasy game is. Not change the mold, not break the mold, not try to fix it, twist it up and do that. Like, what was it? 11 and 14 should not be numbered. They're online multiplayers. It should have just been Final Fantasy Online. Final Fantasy games should be stuck to one thing. If you want to do something different, then it should be called, like, Final Fantasy Monster Tracker or something like that. Like, it should be something different, like Final Fantasy Chronicles and all that different stuff that they would do to do different style games on that board. But Final Fantasy is one rhythm style game, and you should not mess with that. This now, talking about we're trying to do stuff to appease customers. No, you're trying to appease customers because it takes you 15 years to make a game anymore. And the Tokyo RPG Factory is your saving grace. Them and the team that are doing Bravely Default. Because they're the ones that are churning out games quicker. They try to take on this grand style epic games, and they've lost their way of what they are and how they got there. Dude, even Kingdom Hearts. That game should be done by now. And it's like, they take these journeys to get to these games because they try to make them these big, grand productions. And it's like, man, scale it back. Like, this is ridiculous anymore. So, the reasoning in my mind why they're talking about going this route is because they need players to play their games longer to get to that point of, here's the next game. Because it takes them forever to make stuff. That's my opinion.
Yeah. I think you're right about that. Because it takes them so long to make their games, they need a constant income revenue, and having games as a service where people are constantly pouring money into online multiplayer stuff. That's a way to sort of keep going, basically. And I think that's quite sad, because they should be able to focus more on their traditional style RPGs and not have to do this. I mean, I don't know whether it's just money grabbing as well, because I think the industry is going more and more in this direction of trying to squeeze as much money out of the consumer as possible, and that's priority number one over the actual design of the game. And that really upsets me, because I can see the future of gaming like going that way. Like more and more you see it, and it's like, oh, you want to put facial hair on this character, pay up. You want to wear this outfit in multiplayer, pay up. You know, you want to enjoy this game mode, pay up. Like, it's all money grabbing, and it's becoming easier and easier for developers and publishers to force that into gamers' hands, and it's just sad. Like, I think that they should go back and have more focus on the design of the games and the actual enjoyment of the game. I
blame us. I blame the consumers, honestly. Because if they did not buy this stuff, it would not be in games. If nobody paid for facial hair in a 2K game, they would not put it in the game. The fact that people actually buy it is insane. What world do you live in that you buy facial hair? That is nuts. Like, it's not that important. Just play the game and don't give them your money. And that stuff will go away. If they can't nickel and dime you, they won't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But when they realize that they can, listen, I don't care who you are. I don't care if this offends you or not. But when you help the cause to them making millions of dollars on microtransactions, they're going to keep doing it. You want it to stop buying into it. That's the only way it stops. I do not pay into microtransactions at all, ever. Yeah. If Nintendo was like, hey, here's a new Animal Crossing, and if you want to buy these shirts, you have to pay money for them, I wouldn't do it. Not going to happen. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Exactly, because like you say,
Splatoon 2. If they were like, hey, if you wanted to add a new style, like head or hairdo, you got to pay money, I wouldn't buy it. I'd be like, no, I'm not doing it. And I love Splatoon 2, but I would not do it. I'd be like, you're insane.
Yeah. I mean, I'm proud of Nintendo for resisting it. Obviously, they're having more and more DLC these days, but it seems more substantial, at least at the moment, than a lot of these tiny little insignificant things that you pay for in games.
I felt like Smash got a little out of control. If I'm being fair, I felt like Smash was horrible. I felt like Smash was absolutely a cash grab. Like,
is that because you had to buy characters?
Well, I didn't mind buying the characters. That I totally get, because there's balancing issues and all that. What I had a problem was all the Mii costumes that you had to buy as well. Those you should have just got those. Yeah, they should have been like, hey, here's a free update. So here's the free, and this is what you buy. And they didn't. And I didn't even have a problem with them, you having to buy stages, because it makes sense. If someone has to now,
that's something substantial. Like
ported stages, like if you went, like what they did. The one was the castle from Zelda or whatever. One of the levels from the N64, the GameCube. That should have been free. You shouldn't have to pay for that. But like when you put like Cloud in the game and you want to get Cloud's level, yes, absolutely, you should pay for that, because programmers had to design him, had to put him in the game, had to build him in the game. By all means, you deserve money for that. When you just drop something in and it's not that substantial, no. I don't think you should have to pay. I don't think you should have to pay for that. So I had a problem with Smash, the way Smash was.
Yeah, when the gameplay is designed around getting more money out of you, then that's just not on, because designers just want to make a good game, and they're told that, all right, so you can pay to speed up something in this game, like speed up leveling in an RPG or something. And the designers have to think, right, okay, so we can't make people level up too quickly. We've got to make it a grind, which is affecting the game design, and it affects your enjoyment of the game unless you pay up. And I just hate things like that, and I really hope Square Enix doesn't do that.
Yeah, I have a feeling they're going to do it. And I think
me too.
It's not going to, they have become a company that I'm not really fond of lately. They do some great things, but then they do some weird things as well. And I'm hoping that they don't go that way, but who knows. So for me, I have Metroid sales in Japan, 30th anniversary Toon Link, and two-step authentication.
Oh, I'm tempted between 1 and 2. I think number 1 would probably be the most interesting, though.
So, Metroid sales in Japan. Metroid sold through 70% of its inventory in Japan. And you hear that and you go, oh my god, it's amazing. Until you hear that it was only 30,000 copies.
Right.
And it's like, wow. This game is not selling at all. When you go back... Now, here's the thing. It does not sell in Japan. When you go back and you look at the history of Metroid in Japan, I think the top seller is like 40,000 units. And I'm talking this is the Prime series, and this is all the old school games, and like it is not a seller.
I wonder why it doesn't click there.
I don't know. I don't know.
Is it just something about the aesthetics of it, or like the type of gameplay? Like, I don't know.
I have no idea. It just does not work there. But it's also not selling in the United States, and to the point where it's like, I don't understand why it's not. And what I mean by that is, I don't understand why people were clamoring for this game for so long, wanting it for so long, and then now they're not supporting it. And to me, it's like, you guys, you're making a mistake, because this is going to come back to haunt you. Because if this game doesn't sell well, Nintendo might just look at it and go, well, it was trapped on the 3DS. If Prime doesn't sell well, you're looking at another 8-9 years before you see another Metroid game.
Yeah, definitely.
So anybody that's a Metroid fan that owns a 3DS that does not buy this game, in my opinion, you're hurting your cause. Honestly, I bought it, and I love it. I think it's a fantastic game. But
I think though that Metroid 2, like the Game Boy original, is almost the black sheep of the Metroid series.
But this is so different than it.
Yeah, but it's the perception of it.
Yeah,
like people think, oh, it's the remake of an old Game Boy game. Like, how good can it be?
A lot of people didn't play it.
Like,
that's first off, because of that whole feeling. But this is a great game. And the other thing is, like, as big as AM2R is, like, that's huge. That game is massive. So I can't believe that those people aren't buying it as well that are supposed Metroid fans. I
wonder, actually, how much that fan game is affecting the sales of
I think a lot, because I think people are pissed at Nintendo because Nintendo had them take it down, and I think they're holding a grudge.
Well, I don't know if it's that. I think it's more
trust me, it's that. I have a video that has over 13,000 views, and I'm telling you, all the people that come in are all saying the same thing. They're all pissed at Nintendo. And you go through and read the comments on that thing. There's a lot of comments. Like, it's probably my biggest video ever. And I'm telling you, these people are pissed, and they're attacking Nintendo every chance they get.
Do you think, though, that the people that played it have had their fill of that Metroid game, and they don't want to play another version of it?
It was a couple years ago that happened.
It wasn't a couple of years ago, Bobby.
What was it? A year ago?
A year ago at most.
I think that they would. I don't think so. I think they're bitter. I think they're pissed off at Nintendo. I'm being honest with you. From what I've seen, the people that played that game, they're holding a grudge against Nintendo. Most of them that left. I mean, that's not everybody that played it that are commenting on my thing, but the ones that are commenting are pretty aggravated. And I think even my dislikes on the video are way up compared to other videos. I mean, the likes outweigh it, but like, it's the most interaction I've had on any video, and it's crazy. So I look at that and I go, this is a tell. This is definitely a tell that there's an issue here. But I also think that, like, again, if you're a Metroid fan, I'm curious how the 3DS sold, which I don't think that really sold that well either. But that makes sense, because that's who's going to buy. Only idiots like me buy that. But how the Amiibo sold. I haven't seen any in stores when I walk in stores. So I wonder how difficult it is in other areas to get it. If you're listening, tweet us, let us know. If you're watching the YouTube, comment below. Like, in your areas, is it hard to get Amiibo? Get these Metroid Amiibo. Because I'm kind of curious, because I think that is another thing that can weigh into this with Nintendo looking like, if the Amiibo sell through the roof, but the game doesn't, then it might just be where people are just like, Nintendo could look at this and go, well, if the amiibo outsell the game, that's crazy. That would be insane. But then Nintendo would have to look at that and try to diagnose whether it's just amiibo fans buying it up or if it's, Metroid fans. But I think for these specific amiibo, it's the Metroid fans buying them.
Yeah, for me, I'm more of a fan of the 3D, like the Prime series. So, I mean, I didn't buy the 3DS game, and I know that it's a great game, but I'm just not in the mood for a 2D Metroid at the moment. So that's why I've not bought it. But
I bought it.
I'm definitely gonna buy Prime more. Like, absolutely.
I bought it, and I think it's a fantastic game. I really do, and I think that people need to play it and get it up there and do it. Speaking of which, let's jump into what we're playing real quick before we wrap the show up.
Yep. I think we're both playing the same thing.
Both playing the same thing. SteamWorld Dig 2.
Yes.
I got it the day before it launched. You got it the day of launch, correct?
Yeah.
I'll let you... I have a review coming out tomorrow, hopefully, so I'm going to let you kind of take the lead on this one. But what are you feeling about this?
At first, I was a little bit uneasy about it. Firstly, it's beautiful. Graphics are amazing. It looks so good, especially in handheld mode. Like, I don't know, I just love the way it looks. It's absolutely gorgeous. But like the way it's a lot more open than the original, it took a little getting used to. Traversing the environment is a bit different in this one, though it feels a little different as well. But you do get used to it, and once you unlock a few of the things that you unlock in the game, no spoilers, it becomes very, very fun to go around this world. I am finding some things frustrating, but a lot of other things I am just enjoying way more than the original game. So what I'm finding frustrating is how quickly your torch runs out. I don't know whether it runs out any quicker than it did in the original, but it seems like I'm constantly up and down, up and down, up and down.
Are you upgrading?
I've upgraded it several times now, and I think that the distance between the little little tube things that send you up to the surface sometimes are a little bit too far apart.
I think you need to look into the cogs and gearing up. There's actually an upgrade that'll make it that it never goes beyond 50%.
All right.
So
okay.
it'll tick down to 50%, and it'll just stay on for the rest of the time.
Yeah. I'll say that the upgrade system is better this time. There's a lot more stuff you can upgrade with your monies and your cogs and stuff. So I love how deep that is. Yeah. And at first, like, because the little cogs you find, you use those for the special ability upgrades for each piece of equipment you've got. And at first, I was like, I've got all of the cogs I could possibly need for everything. But then you start buying more things, and all of a sudden you have not got enough cogs. So it becomes a bit more strategic. You've got to think, all right, so what do I need for this situation? Like, I'm going into this part of the mine, maybe I should have something that protects me from certain things, so so that's really interesting. I think the music is a little odd when you go up to the surface. I think that music it's good music, but it's not quite fitting, I think, for the...
I love it. I really like it. I don't know. I love it.
I don't know, man. Like, every time I go up there, I go...
Nah, I like it. It gets me excited every time I go up, because I liked it. I don't know. I just like it. There's something about it that I like.
I mean, I like the music. It's very chill, but I don't know. I just don't think it fits.
I'm surprised they didn't go back to Steam Power Giraffe to pull them in again. But it's fine. I get it. It's cool. I love the... I mean, there's just a lot I love about it, and there's I feel like there's plenty of Easter eggs in this, and I'm going to leave it at that. There's just some amazing Easter eggs in this game that, if you are a fan of the Image of Form, there's some payoffs. So we'll just leave it at that. I beat the game yesterday. Took me about 6.5 hours to beat it, almost 7. And I was only 45% complete on the game. So now I've gone to trying to 100% it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going through like every cave. The one thing I do like about this one compared to the other ones is when you have your map, when you go into a cave, if you haven't gotten everything in that cave, it just stays a cave. But when you collected everything that's in there, it puts a check mark. Yeah. So you know, looking at it, like, hey, there's nothing in here. There's no sense going back.
Yeah, that's really good.
I like that. I like that a lot. So it's, and I think what you're talking about is in the first one, there's the main cave, and then you go into a door, and that takes you to a second cave. But they're all kind of like next to each other. Yeah. This one feels like it's spaced out more.
Yeah, it's way more spread out.
There's a much bigger overworld, and then there's also some. One thing I want to ask you: did you pick up on the Zelda 2 Easter egg?
No, but I did pick up on the map colors are Zelda 1 map colors. Mm-hmm. That, like, I'm sure the colors are the exact same one. Like the map, you've got like the creamy color for the dirt and the dark brown color for the walls and stuff. So I don't know. It just looks like the exact Zelda 1 colors.
Have you gotten to the shrine or the cave all the way to the far right?
What, past the windy section? Yes. I've not gone past the windy section yet.
Okay, well then, when you get there, you'll see a very specific homage to Zelda 2. And then the minute I walked up, I was like, damn, this is Zelda 2. This is so cool. Cool. So, anyway. So that is all. Thank you guys for watching us on YouTube, listening to us on iTunes, dayspace.com, Google Play, wherever you can get your podcasts and all that good stuff. Follow us on Twitter. Ninplay Podcast is for the show. You can follow Toby at Toby's_take, myself at Nintendo Gurus. That is all. Peace out, Preston.
Later, masturbators.
Oh my god. Are you really trying to make that a thing? What is wrong?
Yeah, it is a thing. It is a thing.
With you? Someone came in and said that the other day. I told you that. What the hell, man? What are you doing?